Dear students, till now we have learned about the so many type of optical microscope. We have learned the instrumentation and working of compound microscope that is used to magnify the object and to get clear resolution. After that, we have covered the compound microscope, which was actually the combination of two compound microscope and used to compare the two objects side by side. After that, we have covered stereo microscope, which is used to get the 3D image of the object and used especially in the dissection of insects and to study the micropanels of electronics. So, what is the need of phase contrast microscope? See students, in all type of optical microscope, we actually have to stain our object first before the analysis. But suppose we have to study a living object and we cannot harm that living object by using any chemicals in the form of dyes. So what will we do? In that case, we actually use phase contrast microscope. So first of all, this must be clear to you that what is contrast. You people must use this term in your mobile phone, in your computers, to contrast your picture. What exactly happened in the contrast? If you are contrasting any picture that has only two color, the white color and the black color, and when you increase the contrast of that picture, what will happen? The white become more whiter and the black become more dark. It means if we discuss this term in terms of wavelength, so we are actually increase the difference in the wavelength of white light and the black light. The phase contrast microscope exactly work on the same principle. It increase the difference in the wavelength of different visible lights. Now, what are the learning objectives and outcomes of today's session? After completion of today's lecture, you people will be able to understand the working principle of phase contrast microscope, the instrumentation of phase contrast microscope, in which you have read about the parts of phase contrast microscope which make it different from the other optical microscope. You will be able to know the application, advantages and limitation of this new type of microscope, that is your PCM or phase contrast microscope. In coming slides, we will use the abbreviation of phase contrast microscope, that is PCM. Before coming to the details of PCM, first let's recall the working of ordinary microscope, or you can say the compound microscope. I am sure that you all have experience of working on compound microscope. What actually you do when you have to study a plant cell? Can you directly put the slide on the stage? The answer is big no. Because if you directly put the specimen on the stage of the compound microscope without staining the specimen by dye, you will not be able to observe the specimen clearly. You have to first stain the cell with a suitable dye. The dye creates the contrast in the color intensities of the different subcellular components that actually based on the intensity and concentration of particular type and works on the principle of UV visible spectroscopy, which is Beer's law or Lambert's-Beer's law. I hope that you all people remember the Beer's law and the Lambert-Beer's law that we have already learned in our module 2. Now, on the basis of contrast developed, we can visualize the specimen under the compound microscope. Now what if we can't use dye due to some constraint, like suppose we are studying living object that can be dye using chemical dye. So how will we study such type of specimen which not allow us to use any chemical dye or stain? And the answer of this problem is phase contrast microscope. The phase contrast microscope was developed by Fritz Zernike in early 1930, and he had won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1953 for the same. Now coming to the working principle of phase contrast microscopy. The phase contrast microscopy is based on the principle that small phase changes in the light rays induced by the differences in the thickness and refractive index of the different parts of an object can be transformed into differences in the brightness or the light intensities. It is the translation of invisible phase shifts into visible differences in intensities. Phase changes are not detectable to the human eyes, whereas the brightness or the light intensity can be detected by the human eyes. Let's discuss in details. The unstained living cells absorb practically no light. Poor light absorption results in extremely small differences in the intensities distribution of the image. This makes the cell barely or not at all visible in the compound microscope or the bright field microscope. When light passes through cells, small phase shift occurs which are invisible to the human eye. But in a phase contrast microscope, these phase shifts are converted into change in amplitude which can be observed as a difference in image contrast. However, this label-free technique is strongly dependent on the correct alignment of the component in an optical pathway. This alignment can be disturbed by the naturally occurring meniscus effect called weak phase contrast. Now, coming to the instrumentation of phase contrast microscope. As I already told you that the PCM is similar to an ordinary compound microscope. It possesses light source, condenser, objective and ocular lenses that we have learned in the instrumentation of compound microscope. But the PCM is different from the normal microscope in having two additional components, and these additional components are the sub-stage annular diaphragm and the face plate. Sub-stage annular diaphragm. It is located below the sub-stage condenser lens, and it helps to create a narrow hollow cone or the ring of light to illuminate the object. It is made up of circular disc having a circular annular groove. The light rays are allowed to pass through the annular groove. Through the annular groove of the annular diaphragm, the light rays fall on the specimen or the object to be studied. At the back focal plane of the objective, it develops an image. Now the face plate, which is also known as the diffraction plate or the phase retardation plate. The face plate is located at the back focal plane of the objective lens. The phase retarding material components are coated on this plate. A transparent glass disc with one or two channels are present on this plate. The channel is coated with a material that can absorb light but cannot retard it. Other portions other than channel are coated with the light retarding material, such as the magnesium fluoride. See, I told you that the face plate is coated by two types of material. First, the material which can absorb light but cannot retard it, and the second material which can retard the light rays, like magnesium fluoride. Now, what will happen? Some rays are passing through the lens or through the plate as it is. Some will be absorbed by the absorbing material, and some rays will be retarded by the magnesium fluoride or other type of retarding material. This faceplate is either a negative faceplate having a thick circular area. This thick circular area is actually the area which is coated with the retarding material, and a positive plate having a thin circular groove. This thin circular groove will allow to pass the light rays without changing its phase. The unstained cells cannot create contrast under a normal microscope. When the light passes through the cell, it encounters regions in the cell with different refractive indexes and thickness. When light rays pass through an area of high refractive index, it is deviated from its natural path. Such a light ray experiences a phase change or phase retardation. The light rays pass through the area of less refractive index remain undeviated, or it will lead to the no phase change in the light rays. In phase contrast microscopy, the diffracted waves have to be separated from the direct waves. This is achieved by a sub-stage annular diaphragm. Annular diaphragm illuminates the specimen with a hollow cone of light. Some rays or the direct rays pass through the thinner region of the specimen and do not undergo any retardation, and they directly enter into the objective lens, while the rays passing through the denser region of the specimen get retarded and they run with a delayed phase than the undeviated rays. The retardation is about 1/4 of the lambda of the incident light. Both the retarded and unretarded light have to pass through the phase plate capped on the back focal plane of the objective. The phase plate is designed and posited in such a way that the retarded light rays will pass through the area of phase plates where light retarding material are already coated. When the 1/4 or lambda/4 retarded light is passed through the plate, it is further retarded by 1/4 or the lambda/4. Thus, the final change of retardation will be lambda/4 plus lambda/4 is equal to lambda/2. Now, the final retardation of the phase will be lambda/2. This retardation of phase lambda/2 is detectable by the human eye. The unretarded rays will pass through the channels of the phase plate and their phase is not altered by the phase plate. When the unretarded and lambda/2 retarded light are combined, a negative or destructive interference is created because the crest and throw cancel with each other. This we have already learned in the spectroscopy. With the destructive interference, the specimen appears darker against the bright background. You can see here, these are the two waves A and B. Both are adding in a destructive manner and resulted in a darker light. On the other hand, if the undeviated light rays are passed through the phase retarding material, the two rays will be in the same phase and the result is the positive or constructive interference. In constructive interference, the specimen becomes brighter against a dark background. You can see here, this is a figure of constructive interference where two rays are joined together and give a resultant rays with higher amplitude. A combination of destructive and constructive interference creates a high contrast in the final image without even use of any dye or staining material. You can see that this is a ray diagram of phase contrast microscope. This is a light source. The light has been passed through the annular diaphragm and making a hollow cone over the specimen. This is illuminating the specimen. Here you can see this is a condenser lens. This lens is used to condense the light rays to the specimen. After passing through the specimen, you can see here we are getting the two type of light rays. First one is the retarded light rays, which have been shown by the non-continuous light rays. These retarded light rays shows that these rays are passing through the specimen parts which are relatively denser, whereas the non-retarded light rays are passing through the parts of the specimen which are lighter. Now, these two type of light rays are passing through the objective lens and finally fall on the phase plate. The phase plate now creating the destructive interference for the light rays which are retarded and constructive interference for the light rays which are non-retarded by the specimen. It means this is actually increasing the phase difference between the retarded light rays and the non-retarded light rays through the material coated on the faceplates, and at last we are getting the image of the specimen in a more contrast manner. This is the working of the phase contrast microscope. This was all about the phase contrast microscope. Thank you.